Hello everybody, it's Danny and Wanda back from Deepsouth Homestead over at Pecan Grove, guys. Y'all saw us in one of our previous videos talking about planting all the greens behind us. We planted the broadleaf mustard, purple top turnips, and the Siberian dwarf kale. But due to the extreme drought that we're in right here, the wildlife absolutely has nothing here to eat. There's nothing in the woods to eat. There's no water except for what little bits in our ponds, and it is virtually impossible to stop them now. We have the deer fencing, and yes, we have the Christmas bells here. They have come to a point, this 8-foot or 7-foot fence here, they're just clearing it like it's nothing now. Now, all during the summertime, we had the bone sauce out, we had the deer fence, we had no problem whatsoever. But there was other things in the woods for them to actually eat on at that time, so they kind of veered off. And even though right now there's tons and tons of acorns on the ground, they want these greens back here. And me and Wanda have actually sat here and watched them clear this 7-foot fence and never touch it and get in there. And then when they get in there, they get kind of spooked when they try to get out, and they just run through the fencing. And we've got the deer bells on them, and the Christmas bells on them here. That way when they bump into the fence, it kind of spooks them a little bit, and hopefully it would deter them. We've tried everything. We've tried the bone sauce. We've tried this netting fencing. We've got strings hanging around. We've got ribbons. All this has always worked until this extreme drought hit. And now that they have nothing to eat, they're willing to take chances. And that's what they're doing. And they have literally, I mean, you can still see some green out there. They've eaten the tops off of it, but they've mowed it down. This was a pretty green field here just about a week ago, and they finally just got brave enough and said, look, we're going through whatever they put there, and we're going after this food source. And they have. So what we've had to do now is we're just going to basically leave it be, because we can't stop them. The only way we can stop them is just to shoot them. And that is probably something that's going to be in the very near future, if it ever gets cold enough here to shoot something. Our problem right now is it's not hunting season. It's archery season, but it's not gun season. And it's just not cold. I mean, it's in the 50s, but if you shoot a deer and you can't find it, then it'll ruin overnight. And I don't want that. So I'm willing to let them have this and just wait, because this is technically just a cover crop anyway. We're going to be showing you some things in a few minutes that we're actually moving forward in another area where we can have more of a control over it. And I want to take you down here and show you the bed that we tilled up that we were going to put the onions in from Dixondale. Well, we've had a change of mind on that. So let's go tell you what we're going to do about that. Okay. We're back here where we had our Musaki 29 sweet potatoes at, and our fence thing that we had up. We tilled it a little bit bigger because I was going to put several onions here from Dixondale, and I don't know if deer eat onions off, and I cannot afford to lose my onion crop this year. So we're going to be moving the onion crops to another location where we can monitor it better. And here, we're actually going to do something that we've done at Deepsouth Homestead several times in the past. We have tons of the Irish potatoes that are actually going to start. They're already sprouting. We have the red ones, the purple ones, and all. And what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to plant this with some Irish potatoes. And yes, if it freezes, we can chop them off. They'll be fine. And we're late enough in the year now. I mean, today is the 12th. We're late enough, of November that is. We're late enough now, and we normally plant in January anyway, so we're only talking about 8 more weeks. So if we can get these in the ground, and even if we have to cut them off a few times, and they still are viable underground, at least they'll make us some seed potatoes for the future. And there'll be enough here probably, as warm as it's been, and if it keeps being this temperature, they may still be enough here that we can eat fresh for, you know, pretty good ways into the winter time. So that's what our plans are for this now, that the deer, and I don't know, the deer may eat the potatoes off. I don't know. The plants are poisonous, but you know what? There's a herd of these animals. When I say a herd of them, we shine the light out here. There's just eyes everywhere. And when the animals are that hungry, I've noticed even my cows will eat poisonous plants in limited quantities when there's nothing else for them to eat. So the deer may eat the potatoes off. I don't know, but if they do, we really hadn't lost a whole lot. These are just a bunch we had left over from last year. We still have plenty to plant this spring. It's just an experiment to see if it will work. So stay with us on this part of the journey. And now we're going to move over and show you what else we got going on. Well, here we are at one of my newest projects over here at Pecan Grove. We have y'all heard me mention this on the live stream the other night. This is a 60-foot by 4-foot long raised bed. Now this is quite large, but we had a lot of plans for this. Now this piece of property right in here, this was all woods this past spring when we bought the property. I came in with the tractor because I just liked the location of it. And I cleared this whole section out in here of all the yopons and bushes and oaks and stuff like that. I pushed all them out of here. And it actually growed up with grass this summer, which was good because it cut down any erosion problem, which we didn't have to worry about that we didn't know about because it hadn't rained. But anyway, this was a good location, I thought, for a small garden spot. It's a place that's the high tunnel is actually right behind us here. The well is just right up the hill from us here. I feel like that it's a place that I can pretty much monitor the perimeters of a little bit better than I could way up yonder by the barn. And this bed right here, we did a 20-foot section right here. I'm going to try to plant all of my onions in this 20-foot section that we did from here all the way down to right here. Now what we done here was when we had the ponds built, I took all of that dirt that was in the bottom of that holler that the track hose dug out and piled up on the hill for me, all that black rich dirt, and I put it in here. I put a layer of it, a layer of cow manure, a layer of dirt, and a top layer of cow manure again, and plus I put 824-24 down with lime because my pH showed that I needed more lime in the soil. It was only at like 5.5 and I need to be at 6.8 at least. So I loaded it pretty heavy with lime, and we're going to be waiting on our onions from Dixondale to come in, and hopefully I can get all of them in this bed right here. This should suffice Wanda and I for a year if they do like we hope they'll do. Now right next to it is the Corota carrots. This is a technique, if y'all will go back and watch my videos, I have a link, I'll probably put a link up here where you can see how we go about planting our carrots, and we usually have a really good success rate with it. We did a 4 by 10 foot section of carrots because I have some carrots in some containers up there that I'm experimenting with. So this is the technique we found to be the most reliable here at on our place. Now I do have a book that I've wrote on planting carrots and all about carrots. It's in our Etsy store. I have a book on sweet potatoes, a book on carrots, and a book on English peas, which we will be planting here in the near future. So if you were interested in those books, you can go check it out on our Etsy store at deepsouthhomestead.etsy.com. Now down further, we took the next 10 foot of the bed and I layered it just like I did the rest of it. I fertilized it just like I did the rest of it. And I went to town, and yes, I bought the bunny plants because I've been so busy I haven't had a chance to start any plants. Now, are they going to make it? I don't know. I put 12 cabbage plants out here because I love cabbage. And I have a hoop system I've already designed here and put over it with some ag fabs on it blowing, hopefully to deter the deer till I can get the covering over this to keep the insects off of it. And at the end, I also put in a rosemary plant because my understanding is that deer don't like rosemary. So I put a plant in here just to see how it'll do, and we'll see. Now I have another 20-foot section of the bed here that I have not completed yet. I was hoping that it would rain a little bit to soften this ground up because my tractor on the bucket will not even pound those wooden stakes in the ground. It's very, very time consuming. Chris and I did one side up here, put it in, and it wore Chris out from driving stakes just about, so we decided to go cut firewood, which was easier than driving these stakes. I drove the ones all the way down here the next day, and it wore me out, and I still have a 20-foot section to go. So hopefully the rain will make it a little bit easier to get the other section of these raised beds in, and we'll be able to, I'm not 100% sure what we're going to plant in this section here yet. Maybe some potatoes. I don't know if the deer eat the potatoes up there. I don't know if we move down here and put potatoes in here. We might use this for squash because this right here would raise enough squash for me and Wanda for a year, believe it or not, if we managed it properly. So we're trying to do more, at our age, more intense gardening. I would love to be able to finish getting all this down in here taken care of and ready for gardening this year. Now the dog pen fencing system you saw that we had around the Musaki 29 sweet potatoes, Wanda and I's thinking is we're probably going to be setting that up down here somewhere and planting our English peas inside it because we don't believe we'll be able to keep the deer off of them if we don't. The high tunnel up here that we're putting up will provide a lot of our food this year, but it's only 24 by 60, and I'm not 100% sure that we can get all the food we need for a year in this and that high tunnel. We're going to have a designated spot, hopefully between this beds and that next dog pen system. We're going to probably plant some sweet potatoes if we can manage to fence this in where we can keep the deer out of it, and we'll grow some of our Cherokee yellow wax beans. Hopefully we're going to get a place set up to do that. These are staples for us. The whole field up yonder where you saw the greens will probably go back into Danny corn this coming year if we can manage to get all the blueberries dug up out of there and get that taken care of. That will give us our corn for the year. We're trying to set everything up so that we can manage our food system this coming year better than we've done in the past. Now, I know somebody's going to ask this question, why are we growing everything over here at Pecan Grove? I've been gardening at Deepsouth Homestead for probably a good 20 years, and it's time for me to let that land rest. It needs to just rest. Even though I've amended the soil like crazy, it just needs to rest. Well, guys, remember 2023, I told you, was a year about finding solutions, and that's what we're doing here at Pecan Grove. We're looking for solutions to the problems, not only with the climate, but with wildlife, because wildlife is going to become even more of a problem, and insects in the year of 2024, because they need food just like we need food. So our onions from Dixondale should be in this coming week, or actually by the time you see this video, they should be in. So we'll show you when we get the bed done. We'll let y'all see that. And Wanda and I are going to make some serious decisions about this end down here, because we would really like to put a perennial crop in there, something that we don't have to go back and keep redoing, if you know what I'm talking about, because perennials seem to be more sustainable, let's say. And the dog pen, we're going to try to get that put up. Now what we'll do before the English peas get planted in probably mid-January is we're going to go ahead and plant our greens in it, because it really doesn't look like we're going to get anything up yonder. So hopefully we can get us some greens in here, and we'll be able to maybe get a few messes off of them, and then we'll be able to clean it up, put the English peas in right behind it. And guys, we'll show you all that if you just stay with us and watch, because I'm going to tell you what, food system right now is going to be key in the next coming year. Stay with us and we'll show you how we do it here at Deepsouth Homestead. Thank you guys. Deepsouth.